The Kapit Bisig Laban sa Kahirapan Comprehensive and Integrated Delivery of Social Services is a development program of government that works to empower communities, reduce poverty, and improve local governance using the community-driven development approach. In the many years of its implementation since 2014, Caraga stands as one of the highest recipients of the program. Specifically in 2023, the program conscientiously works in actualizing these endeavors through the four implementing modalities that adopt and respond to the imperatives of the various contexts at present. The NCDDP-AF is a disaster response project designed to increase access to basic services while addressing the pandemic-induced needs of the targeted communities through a participatory approach. Since its commencement in 2021, there are 547 barangays in 54 municipalities engaged in NCDDP-AF. The Pamana IPCDD provides micro-level interventions for peace and development of the conflict-affected and vulnerable areas in the identified ancestral domains or IP communities. The coverage of this project consists of 20 CAT-D or AD areas with 51 barangays or ICCs in 19 municipalities. Kalahi Seeds KKB BP2P seeks to contribute in boosting countryside development by providing assistance in grants to families and communities with attorneys from highly urbanized areas. 38 barangays in 3 municipalities are presently engaged for the CDD implementation. This is aside from the 7 municipalities with 103 barangays which have spilled over implementation in 2023. The program also seeks to actualize nutrition-sensitive interventions of the Philippine Multi-Sectoral Nutrition Project to targeted communities. 105 barangays in 8 municipalities are implementing this modality. While the focus of each modality may vary, all of them bear the same trust and strength of the program that is not limited merely to the implementation and completion of community projects. Community participation. Harnessing social capital is a primacy of the program seeking to ensure that interventions are aligned with the needs and preferences of the community. As such, part of the program's design is the conduct of community assemblies and meetings which serve as venues for the community to assess their own development needs and to plan, decide, and implement appropriate solutions to these needs through the community sub-projects. At the forefront are the community volunteers performing different roles and responsibilities. As of August 2023, the program mobilized 11,913 community volunteers in the covered communities. These volunteers are trained and capacitated in different aspects including situational assessment, needs identification, project proposal preparation, procurement, finance, as well as the implementation, operation, and maintenance of community sub-projects. Sub-project implementation and completion. As a result of the participatory activities of the program, 717 sub-projects are proposed, implemented, or completed by the covered communities as of August 2023. All of these form part of the 2023 targets of the program for completion. Of this, 686 sub-projects or 92% are already completed. Sub-projects with ongoing and not yet started status remain on track according to their respective timelines guided by the milestone-oriented plans. Meanwhile, covered areas under the PMNP, KKB-PP2P, and the new batch of IPCDD are still at the project development stage. When finalized, proposed sub-projects from these communities will add on to the 2023 target. The bulk of these sub-projects allows the communities access to basic social services and infrastructures, economic support, and common services facilities, and other infrastructures related to environmental protection and conservation. Certain communities also propose and implement sub-projects in response to the pandemic-induced needs that include facilities for quarantine or isolation and provision of medical equipment or supplies. Essentially, the safeguard mechanisms prepared at the project development stage are ensured within the implementation and completion of the sub-projects, especially in the context of the IP communities. Clustering of sub-projects has been encouraged also to the communities in the attempt to generate a bigger impact. Project beneficiaries. Those completed community sub-projects have benefited an aggregate number of 160,160 households. Essentially, this includes a socio-economic augmentation of households with 4 Ps beneficiaries. Aside from this, 264 families also benefited from the Family Assistance Provision of Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa program of KKB. They are those who have returned to their provinces from highly urbanized areas, mainly Metro Manila. The provisions include transportation and relocation assistance, transitory family support package, and livelihood settlement grants. Sub-project sustainability. The program design also ensures that sustainability mechanisms are in place in the implementation and completion of the community sub-projects. Part of this is the functionality of the operations and maintenance group and the commitment from local government units, especially on the O&M cost. As such, 100% of the 69 sub-projects administered with sustainability evaluation have at least satisfactory results in terms of sustainability. Gender-responsive CDD. The program also works at fulfilling the gender and development trust of the government as it targets the meaningful involvement in access of women to relevant opportunities. 65% of the total number of community volunteers are women trained and capacitated in the aspects of planning, budgeting, and implementation. Women leadership in the different committees is also evident as 68% of the CVs acting as chairperson are women. Also, the program ensures women's access to employment opportunities during sub-project implementation. In the past semester, for example, women comprised 44% of the paid labor jobs and received 40% of the total income generated from the sub-project implementation. The indigenous peoples. The IPs are also given preferential and valuable attention by the program, along with the marginalized and vulnerable groups in the communities. In particular, the Pamana IP-CDD modality underscores the interest of the IPs along CDD with the conduct of indigenous cultural community meetings. It provides opportunity to them to propose, implement, and complete community sub-projects that are responsive to their socio-economic and cultural needs. These include the formulation or updating of the Ancestral Domain Development and Protection Plan, tribal centers, road access, and even pre- or post-harvest facilities for their farming activities. Financial accomplishment and progress. Consistent with the program's priorities, the bulk of financial resources is focused on the empowerment activities and sub-project investments. As per design, 70% of the total budget of the program is allocated for this component. In particular, the financial progress for sub-project investments is consistent with the status of implementation of each modality. For NCDDP-AF, over 68 million community grants and 26 million local counterpart contribution were already released and delivered for the sub-projects. This is 81% and 96% respectively of the approved and committed grant and LCC, since there are still ongoing and not yet started sub-projects. A total of 148 million community grants and 8 million LCC were released and delivered for the Pamana IP-CDD sub-projects. This is 94% of the approved allocation due to grant refunds or waived last tranches. For communities which are yet to commence in the sub-project implementation, the following are the approved grant allocation. Obligation status is still ongoing or on process except for PMNP, where the 57 million grants are already obligated. On the other hand, a total amount of 11 million were provided in the Family Assistance Provision for the beneficiaries of the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa program. CDD institutionalization. The extensive work of the Kalahi Seeds program continues to contribute in the government's constant quest to poverty alleviation and sustainable development. The program's unique strength is demonstrated in its ability to pursue and facilitate a kind of development that is for, by, and of the people. As such, the progression of the program is directed by an end goal where LGUs or local communities adopt and use the CDD process or elements used in the program. The work of the 271 field staff is not only to operationalize the program, but also to act as an important conduit in the transfer of relevant knowledge to these entities and to the people, mainly through the municipal coordinating teams employed by the LGU. Altogether, the accomplishment and gains achieved in this program would not be possible without the continued cooperation and commitment of the local government units of the covered municipalities, as well as the unwavering support of the representatives of Caraganons in Congress. And taking the ride on this momentum, the community-driven development bill that is gaining traction in Congress has a strong potential to sustain, advance, and build on the gains garnered in many years towards a more inclusive development in Caraga region. Para sa Caraga ug alang sa Caraganon, atong ipadayon ang pagkapit-bisig tungo sa hangarin na matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay.
Salamat!